There was some interesting news in the world of college football last week that highlighted a trend going around the sport that the University of Tennessee has not yet jumped in on. We'll talk about it next. Hey, Lucas Panzica here from 104.5 The Zone and A to Z Sports. So last week, Stanford University made the move to fire head football coach Troy Taylor after back-to-back seasons going 3-9. If you're a Tennessee fan, you don't really bat an eye at that headline. It has nothing to do with the Vols program, and that is certainly true. But when you look closer at how Stanford made this move, there's one really interesting component. It was not the athletic director, as it typically is, making the decision and even putting out the statement about why Stanford is moving on and where they're headed in terms of the direction of the football program. In fact, it was program legend and current Stanford general manager Andrew Luck making that call. Now, we're seeing this become much more commonplace across the sport of college football in this ever-changing world of NIL and the transfer portal. More and more programs, including in the SEC, are bringing in people to be the general manager for a roster management role. We've seen Vanderbilt do this. We've seen Oklahoma do this. Just a month ago, the Sooners hired Jim Nagy, the director of the Senior Bowl, to come over and be the GM of the football program after he had just interviewed for a couple of vacant GM positions in the NFL. As college football continues to look more and more like professional football in terms of the way that it's run, more and more college football programs will bring in general managers to help take things off of head coaches' plates because it is simply too much of a workload right now to keep up with all the moving parts and pieces. Now, Tennessee has not jumped in on this trend. Why is that? A couple of different reasons. Number one, Josh Heupel, though he does not have a GM helping him oversee the program, has a massive network, a massive support staff. In fact, one of the highest paid support staffs in the country, whether that's quality control, analysts, or people in roster management roles to help him navigate the world of NIL and the transfer portal. Number two, we see the extreme of Stanford letting its GM literally run its football program. That will not happen at Tennessee as long as Danny White is the athletic director. Danny White is an elite athletic director in the country for multiple reasons, whether it's fundraising, marketing, being the face of a department, all of the things that it takes to be an excellent AD. Danny White has all of those in spades. But arguably most importantly, where Danny White has hung his hat in his career as an AD, whether it's at Buffalo, UCF, Tennessee, hiring and firing coaches has been his specialty. You look at the moves he's made just as the AD at Tennessee. Obviously, Josh Heupel, the one that sticks out the most. The hiring of Kim Caldwell has had the Lady Vols in the Sweet 16 in year one. And at his previous stops, Danny White has made hires that have impacted that program and then others as those coaches have gone up levels in their respective sport. So Danny White will always be the one to hire and fire coaches and make those decisions within Tennessee's athletics department. Make no mistake. And this is not to say Tennessee couldn't go out and get a general manager to help with all of those roster management responsibilities. But it certainly won't be as extreme as what we just saw with Stanford. It will be interesting to see, though, how Tennessee continues to navigate this world of NIL and the transfer portal as the Vols chase a championship under Josh Heupel.